What's up, everybody? Welcome back to On the Warpath. It's Sanchez 405. If you're new, make sure you click that subscribe button because we're on the way to 3,000. So smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. And also like the video. Share it out if you can because we talk Washington Commanders all the time. It's training camp, y'all. So you know good and well, day 2. I got my notes. We're going to take a look at some of the highlights. We'll also give you my takes from Ron Rivera, Terry McLaurin, and Bobby McCain's media availability. Before we get into the notes, Ron Rivera reported today that AGG has flamed out. Yes, the former Liberty Flame has decided to go back to school and will retire from the NFL. I kind of told y'all this before. It was like they were kind of trying to save him, switching him to tight end because the wide receiver room was very talented. Ron made mention of his comments in his comments that he was a good player in learning, trying to transition into that tight end position, but he could tell that the passion was no longer there. A little bit about that later, but let's dive into it. Got my notes here, like I said. Carson Wentz threw the first pick of training camp, and that came off of a pass intended for De'Ami Brown. Kendall Fuller, say what you want to about Kendall. Kendall is out there balling. He's a smart player. Tipped the ball, gave it to Cole Holcomb, and he took it to the house, pick 6. And there's going to be a theme to this anymore, a little bit more too. Kendall Fuller also had a pass breakup. He sniffed out a screen pass that was intended for Curtis Samuel, so he's having a good camp so far. Jamin Davis nearly had a pick, so these are good things we like to hear. But Ron talked in his press conferences. They're not game planning. So Don't take any solace in this. And I guess there was a little jawing. Christian Holmes also had a pass breakup, the 7th round pick out of Oklahoma State, former Cowboy. Dax Milne, he is showing that he is just like his college teammate, Zach Wilson. He's good with his hands. But this time he's not catching cougars. He's catching balls. Pause. But still, good so far camp for him. 2 catches right there, but he's showing that he's reliable. Could he emerge as that number 4, working the slot and all that good stuff? And also, there might be a spot for him on special teams. We'll see. Chris Paul came from the Phoenix Suns. The offensive lineman Chris Paul beat badly by Shaka Toney. Shaka Toney, we saw he had a good game against Seattle last year, and he's trying to duplicate his success this year. A little undersized. A lot of people think maybe he could move up to linebacker. It seemed like they're content on keeping him on the edge. And Montez Sweat, y'all, they put a tight end on him. They put Armani Rogers. Shout out to Roger Smith. That's his boy. Armani Rogers, kind of my boy too, went to Ohio University. Shout out to the Bobcats. And he beat him bad. And the quote of the day goes to him: "Don't put no tight end on me," according to Montez Sweat. So those were the highlights. And now you look at it, we go into the press conference. Ron Rivera, of course, head coach, spoke first, talked about AGG's retirement. He was surprised, thought he was making those good strides there, but he could tell he didn't have the passion, going to go back to school. Talked about the relationship development of a young wide receiver, veteran quarterback, talking about Carson and Jahan Dotson. And, it's them talking and developing that relationship. Is kind of like a mentorship. And even Terry McLaurin alluded to that in his comments as well about mentoring the wide receivers. He had some good nuggets as well. Before we get to Terry, we'll continue what Ron talked about the Buffalo and the nickel. We're going to call it the Rover. Same thing. Buffalo nickel Rover is pretty much the same thing there. But talked about Ben St. Juste and Danny Johnson playing in that spot. And they said, old conspiracy theory Ron or paranoid Ron was like, we've got a couple of good guys out there, young guys out there, but I don't want to let you know who they are just yet. I don't want everybody knowing who they are. So maybe we'll see. I guess it would be Percy maybe who's out there, or maybe even Derek Forrest. And he also continued to talk about the safety position and talking about Bobby McCain and Cam Curl. Their communication is there. They're working well together so far. But he emphasized they're not game planning. I think he said this about 5 times. This It's his new position flex. We're not game planning. We'll just get that on the quote right there. Again, we're not game planning. That's what Ron Rivera said. He also talked about the defense and what Jack Del Rio told them. They didn't do anything last year. They need to come in here a lot more humble. And it seems like, according to Bobby McCain's comments, which I'll get into in a few minutes, that he was a little bit more reserved, not going aggressive, but they seem like they're excited. But they need to come in here, do their job, and be more humble. And I couldn't agree more, because the defense didn't do anything, and they were living off that success from 2020, which they hyped their own selves up. We did a lot of hyping as fans and in the media as well. So, it is what it is. They're learning how to practice here, growing, development. That's what Ron says. Ron always has to have that hallmark moment when he's explaining things about development. And then talking about trusting the young team, going out there, doing the right things, and responsibility. It's kind of interesting. He talks about that. The clause with Kyler Murray's contract kind of makes me think of it. Is this like, are they worried they can't trust their young players to go out there and do the right thing and take care of themselves, watch film? Maybe that's a process or a theme across the NFL. Not really sure. But like we said, not our pig, not our farm in that situation. Terry McLaurin got up there. He talked about his relationship with Carson Wentz. Says that's developing really well. California, when they went out there, that helped them out a lot. And they're sharing a lot of things that they have in common. Maybe we might see them on a fishing or a hunting trip during the bye week. So it'd be interesting. Hope maybe in the off season. Maybe it's not in January. Maybe it's in late January. Maybe it's in mid-February. We don't know. But, hey, it's good. They're developing. So, good things. I mean, anytime you hear Terry McLaurin talk, you get educated, and you just have a good feel that this young man has a good head on his shoulders. And he loves the aggressiveness of Carson Wentz. I think someone in the media also even said that, this is like your ninth quarterback, right? And Terry, unfazed, just went and answered the question. He also talked about Jahan Dotson. He's got natural ball skills, and he takes a business-like approach. Business-like approach, like maybe Terry does? And he's talking about how he plays. He doesn't play with any foolishness. He just goes out there, and he said that Jahan needs to, kind of celebrate when he makes plays in this league, because it is difficult to make plays in this league. But this wide receiver room, he commented on that as well, said they're humble and hungry. It seems like that's a theme, because Jack Del Rio told the defense to be humble and have humility. Also, now Terry's talking about you have a lot of playmakers in this wide receiver room. Talked about Cam Sims, the guy who's played all over the place, and he is the senior statesman in that locker room, because he's got another year up on there since he was here in 2018. And Terry is excited to rock and roll. And then wrapping up the press conference and media availability, Bobby McCain, and he talked about what Ron said: come to work, be humble. They didn't do anything last year. And he said it just like, we did nothing last year, and they've got to get better. The camaraderie in the secondary, talking about developing that. He gave kudos to Kendall and how he's playing, and Will Jackson the third too. And Terry also gave that to him as well. And he called Carson Wentz. There's his term. He said Carson Wentz is a dude. We heard that from Chase last year, so we got our first dude sighting of, our first dude hearing of this the 2020 season here. And he also used the quote, "If we're all wrong, we're all right." So I get in the sense that it's not just one person that's wrong. We're all wrong, and then we're all right. But thought that was a little interesting there too. So there's a mentality of them working together, because there are questions on this defense, the lack of depth if somebody goes down. And I think they understand that. But the top part, it's very top heavy on this defense. And if they stay together and they stay healthy, they could have an opportunity here to do some good things. But he also talked about Holmes and St. Juice and a lot of these young guys, Percy as well, who have been making some good strides in the first 2 days of camp. So it's exciting to see, y'all. What do you think? What's your biggest take from camp day 2 that you've noticed already? Who do you think? What do you think about the AGG retirement? guy who really didn't do anything. I guess you can label him a bust now, like some folks have already. Shout out to Rio. He has labeled him a bust already on his video. And but y'all, I appreciate everything that you're doing to help this channel grow, help me become a better content creator. I appreciate that all the time. And y'all know I'm in the comments. We got a lot of stuff coming. Help me get to 3,000, because without y'all, this is nothing. And I'm just sitting here yelling into a mic myself by myself. But I appreciate you. I love everything that y'all are doing. As we're on a mission this year, hey, remember, I'm Sanchez 405. Let's keep that same damn energy. We'll outlast the bastards together. And always keep it a little petty, y'all. But until next time, love, peace, and hell.